It's WKRK Radio in Murphy, North Carolina. Good morning to everyone out there on in Radio Land and Facebook Live Land. And it's a Friday morning, and we have a lot going on activity-wise. We'll be talking about some of the activities going on this weekend. And we had let's see. Last night we had the debates from the courthouse, and I think Derek is pleased that he doesn't have opposition.
I am. I enjoyed the debates for the first time in my life since I wasn't there, right? Since I didn't have to debate. Yeah, I was at the courthouse, but I didn't have to debate.
And we tried to get Derek to debate anyway, even though there wasn't an opponent, just so he.
I was willing to give an open and closing statement, but they wouldn't let me.
Figured that if you did debate, regardless of the outcome, you were definitely going to win the debate.
I think so.
Yes.
I would definitely lose it too, though.
That's right. You would have definitely lost the debate. Yeah. So we had a pretty good crowd gathered in the courthouse. We've had a lot of folks watch these online, and it is a great way just to be able to get to know the candidates better. And a lot of folks may not have done their research yet. And early voting, I think, is October 17th. And then election day is the first Tuesday in November. So, folks,
the 6th, I believe, November 6th.
I think you're right. Yeah. So, election time is almost here. So, any thoughts you want to share?
No,
with
I
us?
just want to say seriously though, I thought all the candidates did well last night. I didn't see any. A lot of times with debates, you have people that come out really on top, that really advance, and you have people that really hurt themselves and all those kind of things. But I thought last night's debates was fairly even. I didn't think there was a whole lot of sparks or lightning or anything that would really devastate anybody or that would really bring anybody above the other one. I thought it was pretty evenly matched. And so just want to congratulate all those that debated last night. And like I say, it's something that's a necessity in politics. It's something that needs to be done. I've never liked it, don't like doing it, but it's a necessity. It needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. It is. I've never been on that side of the debates where being on stage that I have to actually debate an opponent. Yeah. I've always been on the behind the microphone or the control board or the camera side.
Well, think about it like this. Just think about if you had to stand up in public on Facebook Live and on the radios and reading in the papers next week about whether you were a good radio station manager or not. And somebody was trying to take your radio station away from you, right? And so they were bringing out every time you were late on a bill or every time that something went wrong or something tore up or whatever happened. And that's kind of the stress that you go through when you're going through debate. It is a stressful
situation.
Because things happen in your careers, but the opposing party that always wants to come in, I mean, regardless of who it is, it's just the way it works, is trying to let people know why they're a better person to do the job than you are. And so that's why it's real stressful on people.
And it's kind of hard in that situation not to take those things personally.
It is. It's very hard. Yeah.
Your opponent will never sit there, oh, he's a wonderful person. Here's why he should be elected.
Right.
But yeah, so I've always been on the broadcast side of the debates. And it is good because, like I said earlier, a lot of folks may not have done their homework yet, and they need to get to know the people before they go cast their ballot.
Well, I think what's important to me about debates, and other people may see it differently, but I think what's important to me is you see the person.
Right.
You kind of get some type of interaction with a person, whether you feel good about a person or bad about a person, because as we all know, when you have political advertising and things are put out there, or you look at paper, the way a person runs a business or a job on paper, those are all things that's needed, and you need to know those things. But sometimes when you have debates and people are in the public and they're doing forums and going to events and those type of things, you get to meet the person, then you kind of get a feel for that person, whether you like that person or you don't like them, or whether you think they're genuine or not genuine, or whether they're truthful or not truthful. I mean, you can kind of make all those determinations when you see and hear from someone, other than just watching a political ad or just reading about them in the newspaper.
And I'll go ahead and say it. I like to be able to make an informed decision, and never in my history, my apologies for the sign companies, I have never ever voted for anyone because I saw their name on the side of a road in a sign.
Right.
But I know that's part of the name recognition. What I go for the newspaper interviews, the radio interviews, the debates, so that actually I see what they stand for.
Right.
And it's just hard to fit that on a sign.
It is.
It's really hard to fit that on a sign. But I know that a lot of people do.
Right.
Will just vote, I saw that person's name a lot, so they must be popular.
The only time I really feel, and like I say, I know people have different opinions about this also, and you do have to get that name recognition out. But the only time I feel that where signage sometimes does make a difference is like at the polls when you go to vote. Sometimes people may be undecided when they go to the poll, and they're kind of back and forth. And I have had people say before, that was the last name I saw on the sign before I came in, so that's the one I voted for.
Right.
And so that does happen, but I think the majority I don't think that happens enough to swing an election one way or another. But I think that does happen. But I think the majority of the people, a month out, we're a month away from the election, I think most people have already got their mind made up who they want to vote for when they're a month away from an election.
All right. Yeah. Well, we have a big event coming up tomorrow, and
tonight. Too.
Oh, yeah, tonight.
Yeah, tonight we have events tonight.
Oh, goodness gracious, yes. Tonight is the Calling the Train Home event in downtown Murphy. Murphy and Andrews and all the surrounding areas are coming together to a big celebration here in downtown Murphy. The streets will be closing, I think, at 5 o'clock. A stage will be set up then in the center of downtown Murphy under the traffic light there. And we'll have Mayor Rick Ramsey on at 2 o'clock today, and Mayor James Reed on around 12:40 today. We'll be talking about the event on later shows too. But we're expecting a lot of folks. There will be shuttle buses because we don't have enough parking in downtown to accommodate everybody. So folks can park at the Murphy First Baptist Church, Murphy Elementary, Murphy High School, Murphy Middle School, Valley Village Shopping Center, Conahita Park, and I think that's all of them. And then the shuttle buses will run every 15 minutes.
And I know they're going to do the art walk tonight and some different things that's happening there around town prior to the train event that's going on. But one thing I do want to mention is at 5 o'clock at the Integra Bank there in Murphy, they're going to have the reading of the domestic violence victims that were killed in North Carolina. Also this year, they're also going to have a reading, and I will be doing that reading of a law enforcement officers that has been killed in response to domestic violence and domestic violence related calls. So we'll be doing a reading of all those names in North Carolina, and we will have law enforcement presence there. And I think last year they did a balloon release. I'm not sure what they're going to do this year at the end of that reading. But that little mini event will be going on at Integra Bank in Murphy at 5 o'clock for anybody that would like to attend that.
And if you can't attend that, please just tune in to our Facebook Live. We'll be having that event also on Facebook Live. I'm going to wear out my batteries.
I think so. You better have a charger ready. So I think I know. Then of course the Guinness record tonight. I think that is tonight.
That is tonight. And people have been asking, what are we going to do to break the world record? It's kind of hard to put in print or to explain. So basically, for at least 3.5 minutes, the crowd is going to be whistling. She'll be coming around the mountain for at least 3.5 minutes. That kind of whistling with your lips, and not with a train whistle.
Right.
But we are giving away free train whistles to folks. And then right after the whistling, the Amy with the Murphy High School chorus, I believe, she'll be directing the crowd into singing. Amy Carter, yes. She'll be directing the crowd into the verbal, she'll be coming around the mountain song. So we'll sing that, and then I think all we need are 853 people, but we're at least...
Now, I understand, greatly understand that what the symbolism of the train whistle is, of handing that out tonight. But I think there may be some unhappy parents on their way home with their kids with the train whistle in the back seat.
I hope those parents still love us.
But yeah, it's going to be an event. And I think, I don't know how many people's expected. I think there's supposed to be 1,000 or so. Is that kind of what they're expecting?
I think so. On the Facebook event, I think I had so far nearly 1,700 people either going or interested.
Right.
It just adds those together. So... And if they bring their family and friends, I'm expecting a nice large crowd for this event.
Right.
And again, the streets in downtown Murphy will be closed. I think on Tennessee Street, we're closing it at McClellan Street, and then near Klein Hicks Service Station on the other, that's Valley River Avenue, then Peachtree Street near the courthouse, and then right above Main Street, I believe Church Street will still remain open.
Right.
So again, arrive early. That's the plan. During the whole 6 o'clock hour, there's going to be folks on stage. So all the dignitaries. We'll have Mayor James Reed, Mayor Rick Ramsey. We'll have Senator Jim Davis, Representative Kevin Corbin, and some other folks speaking to the crowd as well. So make sure to come for that. Bill Hughes will be at the depot, and he's going to be talking about the history of the train.
Right.
And that's going to be earlier in the evening. There's so much activity planned for tonight. And
well, one thing that I absolutely love about Bill Hughes, I absolutely love it. You can ask him any question you want to ask him about the town of Murphy and the history, and he can give you an answer.
Oh yeah,
he is very well educated on the history of our area and the history of Murphy, and I think that's wonderful. Anything I've ever wondered about or asked about, I could always call Bill and ask him, and he could tell me the answer to it
without having to think twice.
Right? No, he just knew it right off the top of his head. So I think that would be exciting. I'm a history buff myself. I like history, so I think that'd be exciting to hear what Bill had to say about the train.
I think that's going to happen in the 4 o'clock hour, and then the 5 o'clock hour is going to be the thing in front of Integra Bank with Reach, the reading of the names. I think we're going to have a press conference after that. 6 o'clock, we're going to have folks on stage, and 7 o'clock is the actual breaking of the Guinness World Record.
Right.
And I think we're going to do it.
I think so.
I'm pretty positive we're going to do that with enough support and from friends out there. So if you're out there listening to our voice right now, please come on out tonight and help us become part of history.
And tomorrow, we have the Veterans Appreciation Day at the Band of Brothers Park.
What time does that start?
That starts at 10, a little bit after 10. I think it actually kicks off at 10:20. But the Special Forces parachute team is going to come tomorrow, banning any unforeseen circumstances. Last year, they were supposed to come last year, and on their way down, they had some plane troubles and had to turn around and go back and get some repairs done and couldn't make it. But we are fully expecting them to be here tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and they're going to actually parachute at 12 o'clock into the park. So,
all right.
I know a lot of people's asking about that and interested in that. So.
That is always well attended.
It is.
I'm so glad. And if you're, just in case you can't make it,
Facebook Live.
WKRK's Facebook Live will be there. And I ran out of time tomorrow, so I'm having to take off work. Donna's going to fill in for me tomorrow on the air, and I'll be going doing that. And then the folk school is having their fall festival this weekend. I think there's an arts and crafts show at the high school parking lot.
Car show in Andrews tomorrow evening.
Car show tomorrow evening in Andrews, and Recover Our Mountains. I'll be in Brasstown for that. We're having that costume and dance party for the middle school and teenage and high school. So for all the teens out there, it's a drug prevention measure. We'll have Caleb McCoy there and Caitlin Ledford. I believe Caitlin's coming, but I know Caleb's going to be there. And just talk about some of the things they've gone through and how much better their life is now they're in recovery. So that's going to happen tomorrow.
If you're going to keep up this Facebook Live stuff with all these events, you're going to have to hire staff. I think you need some help.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little age on me now. So, but we appreciate folks who have tuned in and who are. A lot of folks are volunteering to help their community, and I love seeing that kind of volunteerism.
Right. Yeah, and I've said before, and I'll say again, I think we live in the best part of the world. I love Western North Carolina, and I think we live in the best place that you could possibly live in. And you know, if all the bad things and negative things we hear and see going on in our area, I know that we just have a great community, and the majority of our people who live here are great people that just wants to live in peace and wants to help their community and do things to help their neighbor. And I think it's just a great place to live.
All right. For tomorrow's Veterans Appreciation Day, that's sponsored by the Sheriff's Office and the Cherokee County Schools.
Right.
What are some of the event times that I need to make sure to have the camera rolling for?
Well, I don't have my paper here in front of me. I don't know if you have the flyer here or not, but I know that I'll kick things off there around a little bit after 10, about 10:20, somewhere along in there. They will have some singing tomorrow. They'll have different events. They'll have speakers that will speak. Thank you very much. They will have some different events and things there going on. They'll have free hot dogs and hamburgers for their around lunchtime. I think there are some different groups that are singing. The Tunnel Rats and other gospel and musical groups are going to be there throughout the day, having different events going on throughout the day. We'll kick that off, like I say, at 10 a.m. and they're going to have some dignitaries there also tomorrow that's going to have some time to speak and to address the people and thank the veterans for their service and all those kind of things. And again, I want to say, if you're a veteran out there and you have not made it to the Band of Brothers Park yet, I want to encourage you, even if you can't make it tomorrow, I encourage you to go by the park and look at what Roger and Pat Swanson has done down there.
They have made an incredible park
It's
down there.
It's amazing that what they have done. And Roger, I was talking to him the other day, and I think that he had told me that he's got some more military vehicles lined up to come to the park. I don't know if he's actually got them down there yet or not. I know he's been working on some in his shop, and he has spent a lot of time and effort and money on trying to put that park together. And just so our young folks, and one of the reasons why the school's involved in this is to try to promote our veterans, our military, what this country is founded on, to our young people that's growing up in our community, to let them know that freedom isn't free, that there is a price for freedom, and that many people in our area and around their country has paid the price and have given of themselves just so that they could be free and live in a free country and enjoy the things that they enjoy. And so that's what the park is about. The park has got static displays that people can see from aircraft, helicopters, trucks, all kind of different things down there that people can look from different eras, from World War I all the way through to the Iraq wars here recently, and all the wars in between. There's memorabilia there from all of them, and vehicles and different things from all those wars. So I want to encourage you, if you're a veteran and you've not been there to see it, I want you to come by and look at that.
It's one thing to be a student in school and reading a history book, and which I'm not very good at reading and comprehending. That's just not one of my strong points. But to put me in a setting like that, where I see this helicopter sitting there, where I see this military vehicle, it's a completely different perspective. And I'm so glad that he took the time. And I know it's not a cheap project to put together. It's a great facility. So, and it's been here for a few years now.
Several years, yeah. And he keeps adding to it. Keeps every so often he'll buy another vehicle or another static display and put in there, and he's all the time trying to make it better and try to enhance it. And with every item that he puts in there, it's not just for visual, just to see and ooh and ah over, but for everything that he puts in there, there's a story behind it. There's something about that particular vehicle, that particular piece of equipment, and the way it was used in the conflicts and wars and what happened, and people who may have been involved with that, and with every piece that he's got down there, there's a story to go along with it, and it's just a neat endeavor of what he's done.
All right. Yeah. I think you mentioned before the show that detectives have been very busy this week recovering stolen items.
For the last couple weeks, actually, our detectives have recovered an insane amount of property that has been stolen in Cherokee County over the recent months. We have been on a good roll here recently of recovering items quickly. I know Jackie Jones and Kia out there had some vehicles, some parts stolen off vehicles and different things that was recovered pretty quick. We had some different businesses around was broken into and things that the detectives covered within 24 to 48 hours. We've had just a lot of property around that has went missing but has been recovered, and our detectives have just done an awesome job out there doing that. Our lieutenant over our investigative division is Lieutenant Joe Wood, and he has done a great job on lining those guys out and getting crime solved in Cherokee County. And I'm just so proud of them, of what they've accomplished in the last several weeks.
Last week there was a press release about a lot of stolen vehicles, and it pictured one individual who has a history of stealing vehicles and sometimes going in a high-speed chase. Is he working alone in this, or are more people suspected in being part of?
Well, no one ever does things necessarily alone. There's always co-conspirators, and there's always people involved in it. If you go out and you steal things, you've got to have somebody to take it to. You've got to have somebody to help you move things and hide things and all that. So there's always co-conspirators in these crimes. We have been very fortunate and very lucky to have charged people in a lot of these crimes and co-conspirators with these crimes. But one of the things about that, and what we want to make sure that people understand and realize, is that there always is questions about bond and why are these people free and why are they roaming around when they're doing all this, and I doesn't have a particular number right now of how many vehicles this one individual has stolen, but it's 10 plus, that we know that this one particular person has taken, and property that he's taken from people, not to count all the other items such as weed eaters, lawnmowers, miscellaneous things, but just vehicles. We know that he's stolen 10 plus. And people say, well, how is he out? Why are these continue to do this? And it's frustrating for us, just like it is for the public. But we have to realize and acknowledge that bonds are not set for punishment. We cannot punish people with bonds. Now, one of the things that we can do, and one of the things we encourage to do, is when people continue to commit crimes and they continue to do things that's detrimental to the public, magistrates and judges have a leeway to increase those bonds and do a little bit more than they did before, just to ensure that they will show back up for court. Because the more crimes you get charged with, and that likelihood of showing up for court starts diminishing.
And that's the main reason
Right.
for bond, is just to ensure presence at the trial.
Yeah, and there's some other factors that magistrate and judges can take into consideration when setting bonds. But the fact of the matter is, they can't be used for punitive measures. A magistrate or a judge can't look at somebody and say, I don't like you and I don't like what you're doing, so I want to set you a real high bond. Then the next person say, well, I like that person, or they're a friend or family, and I want to set you a real low bond. They can't operate that way. And so bonds can't be used for punishment. But I will say this, is that one of the things that we did on some of these arrests that we have been making, and a lot of things the magistrates can only deal with what they see and what's in front of them, what's presented to them. So one of the things we have been doing with our investigative division is running criminal histories, pulling reports, bringing to the magistrates, this is what this person is doing to our community. This is what's happening. This is how many times they've been out. This is what's happened when they've been out. And so we give the magistrates and the judges a little bit more information to set those bonds. And sometimes it's easy to blame the magistrates. Sometimes it's easy to blame the judges. But sometimes, quite frankly, it could be the officer's fault, because the officer may not have delivered the information to the magistrate that he needs to deliver to him. So it's a two-way street, and we can work with each other on that. So we've made a more concerted effort with our investigative division and with patrol officers to make sure the magistrate has the information in front of him to make the decisions they need to make. So we're all trying to work together and trying to make things better for our citizens here in Cherokee County.
All right. Well, I see our time is almost gone. Anything else you want to add before we conclude the show?
No, just remember, it's not long till Halloween. It's coming up. Then we're talking about all these festivities that we got going on. People's trying to wrap up their late summer stuff, their late fall stuff. Winter's going to be here before too long, and trying to get things out while it's still warm. And so we'll have Halloween coming up here in just a little bit. Then before too long, it'll be Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so we just need to tell everybody to be safe out there and watch what you're doing. And we'll talk more about Halloween as it gets closer, and safety tips and different things to think about for that. So.
All right. And before I forget, I meant to mention this when I was talking about the costume and dance party at Recover Our Mountains. It's just a handful of volunteers and we're basically footing the bills out of our own pockets. We are looking for donations of soft drinks and bottled water. If you can donate those, just drop them off here at WKRK, and we'll take those for the middle school and high school kids to enjoy tomorrow. And we're located at 90 Tennessee Street in downtown Murphy, and that's my begging for the day.
There you go. Hopefully you'll get some soft drink.
All right. Sheriff, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And you stay safe out there. We'll talk to you soon. Folks, this is WKRK Radio in Murphy, North Carolina, 105.5 FM, 1320 AM, cable TV channel 25, worldwide at country.am. You can also hear us on Google Home and Amazon Alexa. Stay tuned. Pastor Rod Brown's coming up shortly right here on WKRK.
What does your morning sound like?
Rock-a-bye, baby.